Again, in the last tutorial, we'll talk about how to generate a map layout with just one map in the map window. Today, we're going to talk about how to generate a layout with two different maps within the map window, with each with its own individual grid lines. Now, to open the old map layout that we created and use that as a baseline to generate more maps, you go to Project, go down to Layout Manager, and now the map layout we have there is titled Nigeria. Click, if you double click it opens, but if you click on Show, it opens. But I want to create an extra map, duplicate this map layout so that I will now use that map layout, because this one is still, I will leave it the way it is because I'll use that to print a map later on towards the end of this particular unit. So duplicate. Now the duplicate says Nigeria copy. So this time around I'll say Nigeria underscore subset state, because I want to combine the state map with the Nigeria map. So let's just say Nigeria, change the name to Nigeria underscore subset state. So meaning eventually I'll get a subset of Nigeria out individually within that page. So say okay. And then it loads the second map, and this is the map now. If you check the name, it is Nigeria subset state. So the other map is still intact. I can open that too. This is Nigeria, the one I'll leave intact until I make my printout. So I'll close that now and continue with the Nigeria subset. You can close this one too. So going back to this, uh, this is a map that I want to retain, but in order to create a second map, I want to reduce the size of this so that it becomes just a small section, cover a small section of the area. It means I have to make some adjustments. So can move this map upwards, my choice. You can see that as I drag down, everything really changes. Even the scale bar changes, because as I change this, it changes configuration, everything that's tied to it, including the grid lines, the values of the grid, the intervals, the scale. So eventually, let me leave it at this size for now so that the state will now be within this area. The legend, I might decide to eliminate. I might still retain it. But be that as it may, let's leave a legend. Eventually, you might decide to remove, or you can drag it outside to make room for uh, other things. Put this on the center because it's still the same geographic coordinates. So now that we have this, it means I have to readjust it so that the interval, the the grid lines will become more useful. Right now, it's now a total mess. So having selected that, you can go back to grids, click on the grid within, you want to modify that. Select modify, click on modify grid. I want to change the interval to, let's say, um, interval to 5. Now you can see that the longitudes become clearer. At least there is a large space in between, so you don't have too many lines with. So let's see whether we can change that. Maybe I'll leave it at that, so that you have uh, three longitudes displayed. Now go to the Y, which are latitudes, and do the same thing, 5. And you have 3 also displayed roughly. Now the interval between the 3 longitudes seems okay, but the latitudes, the intervals don't seem, it looks like you have one smaller space here and then a large space here. Let's see whether it's possible to center that. Let's try 0.0 with the offsets and see how it works. A bit, but not much. Let's make it 1.0. Not much still. Let's make it 5 here. Another 5. Well, I think that's 1.5. Anyway, this is adequate, 1.55. But what about 1.65 or 75? Yep, this is adequate. So you have 3 well distributed. So you just make the adjustments until you get exactly what you need in terms of the grid intervals, and of course this you have 4 latitudes displayed. So having done that, at least the grid is adequate right now. So you can leave the grids, go back. You need to readjust the scale because the scale now looks meaningless. So to do that, um, the units is at 100. The fixed width is 100. That means the interval between one scale setting to the next is 100. Now, what if you reduce that to 50? What happens? 50? Nope, wrong move. Let's make it 250. Brings out more of the information, but too large for my fancy at the moment. Let's see whether you can reduce the size of this. Nope, not going. So I want to compress this further, but then if push comes to shove, I can reduce the number of readings there, reduce the number to the right of 0 to 2. So you have right 4 here, so reduce it to 2. Now it's possible to have it within the map window. You can still move this further down. Click outside is adequate right now, but maybe you can say, based on the fact that the map is now small, let's see whether we can reduce the width of the line, and the height here is 3. Reduce it to 2. That's better. So click on it again and maybe use a move key, move it down. Okay, maybe, just maybe. So select this. I need to center it once more. So you select this tool, which is move item contents, and then you can hold and drag to an appropriate position. Being that it's selected, I can go back here. I can increase the scale to, let's say, 16. Blown up a bit. Well, I might increase it further to 15 million. Okay, now I can decrease this still at 15. So basically attempt to reformat the entire maps such that so another thing that might need to be done is, like I said in the previous lectures, you need to lock so that any changes within the QGIS window will not affect the map itself. So nothing is going to change if I change something within the QGIS window, but then there is something that we need to do within the QGIS window and make that change happen here too. You can see that there are lots of names. I want to remove the names to make the map a bit clearer. At least the colors can also be already reflected in legend, so you can always put two and two together. And then let's make the map less congested. So go back to the QGIS window. We can close this. So what I want to get rid of is the labelings within. So if you recall, we generated a new map where we dissolved the local governments and retained only the states. And that map is what we use to label. So I think this is this map. So deactivate. Now the labelings are gone. So no state names active. But I can still see that the site is still active within. So I want to deactivate that layer too. Field data gone. Now, having done that, go back to the map layout window. You can see that these things are still there. Go to lock, unlock. You see the names are gone. Relock. Because if you don't relock and then you make any change, because I'm meant to have two maps within. So once I want to edit the second map, everything everything that appears in the second map will also appear in the first map. So I don't want that. So I have to lock it so that the second map becomes the only map that is open and that can be amendable. Now, but then this is not necessarily all, but at least we can leave this map as is and then move to the second map. So you can hold, drag up to create more space. As for this, oh no, undo that. I want to bring this here for now. Administrative, the title, move it further. Just trying to create more room. So that, okay. I have to maximize space. So now that you have this down, let's now talk about how to get the second map into the window. So save this. So to get the second map into the window, you have to go back to the QGIS window and deactivate the Nigerian map and then activate the state map, which is the Anambra map that I have already generated in previous lectures. So go down, deactivate this, goes out. Then I'll find the administrative map of Anambra State, which is this. Nope, not that. Administrative map of Anambra State. These are the maps, but I want the map that has a, well, I think we'll have to make do with this one. So this is the map. So let's zoom to that layer. So that's Anambra State with the local governments labeled within. If you want to see the local governments listed in the panel, it's still there. Let's expand this once more. So these are the local governments, and of course their symbology in terms of the unique coloring. All of this will show up eventually in the the legend when I want to prepare the legend. Now, this is a map of Anambra State, and this is what I want to represent as the second map in that window. So let's go back to the map layout window. Now, to import the map again, this one, add map, click, come in, click within, hold, drag to the appropriate position, and then you let go. So now that you let go, I want to now change the scale to make the map fill up the window within which it should its own page. So I have 14. No, I think it's 1,140. So 140, 120, 1,421,938. So let's make this 800,000 and see what it looks like. 800,000. Yeah, you can still increase further. So 500,000. Nope. Too large a scale. 600,000. No, 550,000 will do, I guess. 500,000, I guess. That's, oh, I'm making a mistake. 600,000. Sometimes you get mixed up with these things. 650,000. That's better. So with that set, you can also compress in this way, make more room for, let's say, the legend and other map components. You can drag this further to the side. It's basically space management. So 650,000 again. So this should do. Now that this map is within and is well centered, you might decide to add some items, but then let's add the grids and of course the frame. So I select frame, activate the frame to make the lines around the map permanent. So once I see frame now active, so having activated the frames, the frame of the map, you go to grid. You can notice that the grid is now empty because I'm talking about a different map altogether, even though there's another map that is within the window. So I have to add a grid specific for this particular map. So add grid, select the grid, modify that grid. I'll have to define the grid interval once more, but well, Let me select frame and annotation. Grid interval, let's try and see whether one goes. I have a feeling that one would not work. It won't work. So let's say 0.5. 25. Oh, I think let's just make it 0.5 at the moment. I think there's something that well, let's say to make things a bit easier, when you're doing it, you might as well retain the solid so that you'll be able to see what you have before you will now deactivate it and change it to something else. So 0.5, let's make it 0.25. 25, so better. 252, better. I think that's adequate for my fancy. So no readjustment is just perfect. Uh, you go down on that frame style, select interior and exterior ticks. So that's, you can now deactivate the solid and make it frames and annotations only. So the interior and exterior ticks now gives you what you need. So having done that, you scroll down until you get to where you now need to uh, add the coordinates. So it said draw coordinates. Activate that. For now, it's still, as usual, decimal degrees. So let's make it degrees, minutes, seconds, and suffix. You can choose to make it degrees and minutes and then suffix without the seconds, but your choice. So I take having the three of them together. Uh, when you go down on the left side, as usual, vertical ascending, right side vertical descending. You leave the top and the bottom at horizontal. Just space management still. That's what it's all about. Scroll down further. I want to make it um, one, two decimal places at most. So coordinate precision decreased to 2. So it becomes 0.00. So that makes it a bit less cumbersome. Move the title up so that it doesn't really interfere with the map itself. You can still move the map down a bit. The choice. So now that this is done, you move to the next, which is basically how to now add the items. Note that both maps have two different types of grids, and both maps will also have two different types of scales because based on the scale is in line with the size of the map of the map, and of course the size of the area that a section of the map is meant to represent. So the scale for Nigeria will be very different from for the scale for Anambra State within this map. So the map, I will have to have a scale for Nigeria map and a different scale for the Anambra map. But there are other components that both maps can share, like the north arrow is dimensionless, so it's all about the orientation. Unless I decide to kind of change the orientation of Anambra State and retain another orientation for Nigeria, then I'll now have two different north arrow, but they are still normally oriented. So one north arrow will do for both of them. The coordinate system is still the same, so one coordinate system will do for both. All I have to do is just center it so that being at the center of the map, it goes for both map units. So the titles will depend on the individual. So this is administrative map of Nigeria. Well, let's add something else. You can press enter and say highlighting Anambra State. So that's more like how you edit a title that is already there. You select it, and then on the side within this panel, you can add something extra. If you click outside, the name is not fully represented. So it's either you reduce the font size to make it show up, or you expand this window. If I expand the window, I might end up changing the configuration of the map itself. So let me see whether I can readjust the font size. It's at 20 at the moment. That's quite high. So I'll go for 18 and see whether it does the magic. Not yet. Let's go to, let me type in 14, 15 now. My choice. Okay. That's adequate. So basically it's centered. So that's where this is at the moment. Next point is to add scale, add scale bar for this. And of course, it should be active when you try to add a scale bar, because if you add the scale bar for if you don't active if it's not selected when you try to add the scale bar, it might add it for a different map altogether. So now that it's there, you run the same things you did initially. You might decide to make it double. You might even choose other styles. It's not just single box and double box. This is double box. You can select thick lines, which is basically this, which is quite common too. You might select stepped line. So there are different formats for the scale bar, but let me still go for the double box. Now let's still leave the unit as kilometers. I can still change the unit to something else, but kilometer is the best for this particular map. One step before zero, four step after zero. So I change the position of this. So now that's the scale bar for Anambra State. You can see that it's quite distinct from that of Nigeria now. So having done that, you add label for Anambra State, which is basically add item, add label, draw within the map window, select within the pane, type in living caps, Anambra State. So fonts, make it bold, increase to 12, possibly. Center, middle. So what else do you need to add? Go to add item, picture level, dynamic text, add legend. We'll come to that. Not arrow already there. Shape, arrow. Yeah, we'll get to the arrow. Yeah, let's say you get to arrow, you click on arrow. This is not like not arrow. With this arrow, I'm trying to show this is a map of Nigeria. The intent of having a map of Nigeria is just to show somebody who's not a Nigerian where Anambra State is located within that map of Nigeria. So now you have a map of Nigeria here. You might draw an arrow that points from the location of Anambra State within the map to this map itself so that you know that the region that this larger map represents is a subset of the the Nigeria map. So Anambra State is located around here. Click within that area, and when you check it to the map itself, you can click and you right click, and then the map is set. Now let's confirm the location. You can increase this. You can use the zoom somewhere to zoom into or to increase the map window. I want to, let's use what you can easily use rather than my own shortcuts. So that's not exactly the map, the location of Anambra State. So it means I need to select this, the bottom, drag up, and this is where Anambra State is. So now, once you click outside, anybody who gets this map knows that this larger map here is meant to represent a small section within the Nigerian map. So having put that there, we would now add legend again. We're adding a legend again because, of course, this legend is not complete. But there is another alternative, another way to do this. Let's try and see how it works. Let's bring this tool into the map window. Now that we have this in the map window, we notice that it means I'll have to split it further for it to be able to fit within the map. And of course, I still have some extra data to add in terms of the names of the local government areas in Anambra State. So I might decide to format this one, or I might decide to add the legend again. Of course, now you know how to add the legend. So let's see whether we can format this. And of course, maybe that will be even more straightforward. So once you select one, this map right now, I need to eliminate, at the very least, eliminate FCT here, bring it into the second, split the second further so that I can now add the local government areas. So having decided that, let's say you select this, I'll come down, go to FCT. I don't want it to be there anymore. You'll remove FCT. Still outside, Enugu still seems to be interfering. So let's just say select that. Is already even covering the grid. So I have to get rid of Enugu State too. So scroll down still, go to Enugu, delete. Now that's better. So if you click outside, so now it's accommodated within the map. So select the second legend that is there. I need to bring in Enugu State and the FCT, but that's not so very easy to bring. It's easier to remove than it is to bring in, but you can also bring it. You can bring it in. Let's go back to bring in. To bring it in, this is minus is delete, plus is add layer. So click on plus. It gives you all those layers, the map layers within your map window. These are where you now can bring it into the legend. I want to bring in this. Which one is which? Which one is which? I might run into issues here. Let me go back to the map window. But I have two of those to avoid a situation whereby you bring in a legend for the wrong map. That's why somehow you might need to get rid of this one. Remove. So I have just one here. Let's see what happens. So go back to the map layout window, add, scroll down again. Now I just have one. So I want to be sure that whatever I'm bringing in is the appropriate legend. Select it and click OK. Now you can see that it has been brought back in, but there is something you note. You'll note that it was added to what was there before now. So I need to get rid of what's the old sets from Gombe, or rather I need to get rid of this one in its entirety. So minus. So now I have the new legend. In this case, I want to deactivate this and I want to see it. Right click, select hidden. That title goes. FCT, I want to adjust that, but be that as it may, to make for less congestion, I can still select this. If I double click on it, I can edit, but bear in mind that this button is for edit selected item. So click on this button and it still brings you here where you name it Nigeria. Go back so it's reflected. Doesn't matter because it won't show up in the legend. FCT, click on edit, change again to FCT in caps and brackets, Uja. Close the brackets, go back. Now FCT is reflected. So you want to remove everything above Ekiti and above. From here upwards to Abia State to Ekiti State, you want to eliminate them from this particular map because it's already existing in the from this particular legend because it's already existing in the first legend. So minus. Now you bring it down and see what goes outside of the map again to know what to eliminate. So it means that you have to get rid of Ondo State and beyond. Select Ondo, hold Shift on the keyboard, select Zamfara, click minus, it goes. So that's adequate. So now I need to duplicate this again, copy. You can right click and paste and select paste, but there's no paste there. So usually I use my shortcuts. So just Control V, hold Control down, then press V on your keyboard and it pastes it. So that's my usual shortcut for pasting. Now I have to edit this again. So there are two maps I need to bring in and then delete this one. I need to bring in a Nigeria map and then bring in Anambra State map. So now that's the next step. So add layers, scroll down. I need to add Nigeria first. Nigeria has been added. I need to eliminate the first Nigeria there, the first map of Nigeria layer. Edit this one too, to an extent, hidden, and maybe still Nigeria. I don't need to edit FCT now because when the chips are done, FCT will be deleted because it's already present in the legend. So from Ogun State. So scroll down until you get to Ogun. So Ogun is part of this map currently. So Ogun and above would have to go to Abia, delete it. So now you have Ondo all the way to Zamfara State showing up. But that's not where it ends. You need to bring in the local governments. So add there, find Anambra States. Anambra States, I have more than one Anambra State here again. Don't want to mix things up. Which Anambra State is active in the map window? This is the Anambra State active in the map window. Which is it? What's the name? Anambra State without the number. I think I have another Anambra State here. Why I'm careful about this is because when you're not conscious about the symbology, when you have two Anambra states, they will have two different color notations. So when you want to bring in a legend and you bring legend for one map to represent another map, then you create you create a lot of problems because your map becomes useless. Because when somebody sees yellow and yellow is Okanot, and in your map yellow is Ayamelum, then you are mixing things up. So there's a second Anambra here that I need to get rid of. Not this, because the one I need to get rid of has a, yep, according to the map, that layer has different color notations. Let's go back to bringing in. So how many Anambras do I have here? Anambra BB. Anyway, the bottom line is that confirm the name of the Anambra you're working with. So I'm working with Anambra State without any numbers. So you go back to the map window, add layer. Anambra BB is not the map. Go down. Anambra State, it's this one, it's not the second one. The second one has a number attached to it. So those are the only ones. So you select Anambra State, say OK. And now you can see that lots of other items have been added to the map with Anambra State still retained. So if you check the map here, you have Anambra State. So edit the Anambra State still to remove the underscore. So it becomes a simple word. Go back. Let's see how many Anambra State local governments can come in here. As far as Oka North, so Oka South doesn't come in. So from Oka South downwards, I have to get rid of all of that. Minus again. Now, if you click outside, yes, but not really. Anyway, we'll do something else somewhere along the line. Now, that means I need to duplicate this once more. Copy, Control V, drag to appropriate position. Now in this map, in this particular one, Nigeria is no longer relevant, so delete Nigeria. I'll have to bring back Anambra into the map. Plus scroll down, Anambra State. Okay. I have to get rid of Aguata to, but first get rid of this Anambra. Get rid of Aguata to Okanots. Aguata to Okanots. Still problematic. Maybe not. Because we can decide to extend it further, given the fact that there is more space there. But it's already covering the coordinate system, so you can drag the coordinate system away so it's visible. You can check the coordinate system. Yep. So now that you have the legend within, you can zoom in and take a look at this. So this is what the legend will look like. But I want to change the format so that Anambra State will be different from, make Anambra State bold, so it's different from the local government and then the state. So select that. I need to format. So go down, find fonts, text formatting. Legend is already there. So group. Anambra State is a group. So group title is what I'm trying to increase. So let's see what happens with that. Make it bold. Make it 14. See whether that changes. Doesn't seem to reflect. Subgroup, still 14. Bold. Okay, yep. Subgroup is where I need to change that. But I don't think I need to make it 14. Let's see. Under subgroup, let's still make it 12, but bold. Better. So Nigeria, subgroup, still 12 and bold. Okay. So now at least you can see at a glance where the list of the states end and then the list of local governments in a particular state begins. So this is basically it, but this is still incomplete. I can still see Anambra State on top of it. So you go to Anambra State, select, right click, hidden. Now that's a lot better. So you can, nope, not there. So click within. You can use your down key to move down accordingly. So this is basically a map layout with two distinct maps within the map window that are still related. So this is something, is possibly a way to represent a map in your project or in some uh, in some documents or the other. You can represent three maps in this way within this map window, but we'll see how that works out subsequently. Maybe the last map I'll add an extra one that talks about the study area that we generated. But I might not expect you to do that. I might just show it as an output without going through the process of getting to do that. But we'll see how that pans out eventually. So this is a map of Nigeria highlighting Anambra State and of course in greater details. So I think we can stop for now here. You can see that the map has all the crucial components of a typical map layout. So you save and then you can close. Would now in the next stage use this as the template to design other maps, so it makes the job a lot easier. So mostly what will happen will be automatic, so we'll change within this Anambra State window. We'll now try to bring in the raster data, and of course maybe the streamlines. So you can close this after saving. You can come here and then uh, open the layout manager and duplicate again, but we'll start with that in the subsequent section of the tutorial.